praises to the Lord. Akiam on one accord, cutting heathens up with the sword. Pray a mother 144, feasting on him, it's a smorgasbord. Yahweh power, Lord of war, wake our people up more and more. When we aim, we only shoot to score.
All praises to the Lord. Akiam on one accord, cutting heathens up with the sword. Pray a mother 144, feasting on him, it's a smorgasbord. Yahweh power, Lord of war, wake our people up more and more.
Bring that out. It's a That's a great book. That Deuteronomy literally means second law. So this is Moses telling the children of Israel the law again. Because, like I said, our people are hard.
Second law.
Second law, Deuteronomy. Bring that out though.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Like I said, this is Moses speaking to the children of Israel who just left Egypt. We just left Pharaoh. Moses parted the Red Sea and brought the children of Israel out of Egypt. But this is God saying that he will be, the Lord God will lead you into Egypt again. So this is speaking about a whole different Egypt. Keep going.
Shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So that's the prophecy of the transatlantic slave trade in the Bible, in Deuteronomy. But we're going to break this down line by line. Bring it out again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So we got to ask ourselves, if we were just led out of Egypt, what Egypt is this talking about? Because the verse just said that he wouldn't lead us back into Egypt. So bring that out.
How do God hard Pharaoh's heart? How do you hard somebody's heart?
Well, you see, the most.
I'm asking questions I don't understand.
No, you good. That's a good question to ask. How was Pharaoh's heart hardened? What you got to understand, the Bible doesn't teach that we have free will. So everything that the Pharaoh did, it was under the Most High God's control. So the Most High God hardened Pharaoh's heart on purpose. He wanted to show his power. He really wanted to show everybody who was on earth at that time his power. Because he was going to bring Pharaoh up just to bring him down in front of everybody.
Come on, Jesus went to hell for 3 days. Why didn't sit down there 3 days?
So
brought people up and then he did. And he had to find a key. So what was the key?
Real quick, sister.
Okay. I never get those.
No, you're fine. We're going to answer those questions, but right now we're going to stick to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. We're going to stick to the transatlantic slave trade being prophesied in the Bible. We're going to break this down, then I'm going to answer your other questions.
All right, cool.
So right where we left off, we're trying to find out what this other Egypt, the children of Israel, were going to be sent into. Bring that up.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 8, and it reads, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
The great city,
which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Now let me ask you a question. What is Sodom in the Bible? What were they known for?
Sodom and Gomorrah for sin.
For sin, what kind of sin?
I don't know that they turned gay people.
Exactly. For homosexuality. That was the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible. Homosexuality. So this is saying that this great city that's prophesied in Revelation is going to be spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt. So real quick, one more time. What was Egypt known for in the Bible? I just told you. What were the children of Israel doing in Egypt?
They were Jews and they were from the area.
What was Pharaoh doing to the children of Egypt? To the children of Israel? It was making them slaves. So real quick, the spirit of Sodom and Egypt, that's the spirit of homosexuality and the spirit of slavery. And it says that the great city is going to follow after that. So what great city on earth right now do you know that extorts homosexuality and that was built on slavery?
United States.
Exalts homosexuality and was built on slavery. That's the United States.
That's right. I know that from the military.
It went from the
world. 19 go into war.
Right.
Everywhere United States go is war. I declare.
Right. Thou sayest, sis.
Thou says that.
Right. That's a very astute sister.
Yeah. Everywhere United States go is war.
Right. It's war, and they spread this white supremacy, this slave and homosexual
And
mentality.
people of color are the lowest on the totem pole.
Right. Exactly.
But we the majority. I know that.
Exactly, sis.
When Obama went to Ghana trying to convince the president to, make gay marriage legal, what the president told him? You got bigger things to do.
Right.
Big fish to fry.
Right.
You know what? Only I know about Obama, did nobody like him because he wasn't supposed to be there. He was there, but he wasn't.
Look, he was supposed to be there because guess what? He wasn't our people. He wasn't an African American. He was a Hamite.
Yeah,
We would call him a
somebody
Hamite.
told me that he was like a traitor.
Right.
He was like a perpetrator of fraud.
Not just a traitor. We know for a fact that he's not our people. A lot of people, just because he was black, our
He
people
was
are
a
blinded.
puppet.
He was a puppet, but our people are blinded by color. And we saw a black man in the Oval Office, and we thought that he was blood of our blood, a bone of our bone. But he wasn't at all related to the children of Israel. He was not an Israelite. He is a Hamite. He comes from a completely different nation. A nation of
I know
heathens.
what the Hamite, because I write it down. I don't find it in the Bible, Hamite.
I mean, you could read throughout Genesis.
I'm going to get that by, it's called read for yourself.
Right, exactly.
That's why
And look, I would rather that you go into this Bible and read for yourself. Don't take what I'm saying.
No, if I have some questions, I can get the number here to call.
Right.
But I'm going to get the concordance and Forest Park on the blue line and read for myself.
Right.
Why people are so money. I mean, but all you got to do is just ask God. He would give it to you. But you'll dig up the street to go. Because you just dig up the street
Right.
to get
Right. We just read, asking you shall receive. So you're on
Yeah, he
point.
did say ask you.
This is Deuteronomy 17 and 15, because the sister said that Obama wasn't supposed to be there, although he was. It's just that our people wasn't supposed to vote for him.
Right.
This is Deuteronomy 17 and 15. And thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother.
Right. And he wasn't our brother. He was a stranger that America had exalted to be the king, basically, of America, the president of America. But like you said, we even know that he was just a puppet, right? That he was being manipulated.
Why nobody like him?
And again, like I said, not just our people, but the whole world is struck by color. So they might see a black man in the Oval Office, and they gonna tie him just off the color of his skin. They gonna tie him to the African Americans who were in slavery here in America. But he was not from there. His family descends from Africans, from Hamites.
Thank you. You asked everything I want to know in English.
We did the same thing today with the vice president, Kamala Harris. They saw what looked like a black woman, and we said that she was the first black vice president.
I ain't got no thing.
Yeah, but she switched it up as well. Cause guess what? Before, yeah, she played the race card. Cause before this whole election, she had like she was very much so into her Indian heritage, and that's what she was pushing, her Indian heritage. But they saw it better to get those votes, to manipulate our people to go out and vote for her, to showcase her as an African American female.
That's how the president won.
Right. Black sororities. Right, exactly.
I got it.
So
I don't watch TV, but I got
it's really all trickery that's going on. But real quick, I just want to get back to what we were going into.
Yes, sir.
Come on, so bring out Revelation together. I want this to be established. This verse has turned a lot of our people, has turned their hearts. It's given them the knowledge, it's given them the spark to want to look into this Bible, because when you read the transatlantic slave trade, when you read your own history in this Bible, it hits way differently. You know, it puts that spark in you to want to learn more. So bring that out again.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 8, and it reads, and their dead bodies,
the Israelites' dead bodies,
shall lie in the street of the great city.
The great city which we just established was America, Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. where also our Lord was crucified.
And we established why this place is referred to in the scriptures as Sodom and Edom, or as Sodom and Egypt. Go back to 28:50, 68. So we just established what that Egypt is talking about in Deuteronomy. Let's keep going.
So Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with...
So if we disobeyed God, he was going to bring us into Egypt again, which we just said was America.
With ships.
With ships. What people on the face of the earth do you know were taken into a whole nother land and put in slavery on ships?
Now I want to say this about the United States. We put here why they call it the greatest third world, the greatest power.
What's up?
Why the United States is considered almighty, the greatest power of all the countries.
I mean, that's a little bit deeper question, but what I could say is the United States was established by Edomites. If you know anything in the Bible, the Edomites would be the modern day Caucasian man.
That's right.
And those
I don't know.
Right. So I'm letting you know right now. Jacob and Esau were brothers. Jacob is where we descend from. The 12 tribes of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Esau.
Oh, is that where the bread came from? And he wanted for food.
No. That's something else.
That's something else. The birthright. The birth. That's something else.
Yeah. No, the birthright. You talking about? Yeah. Exactly. So.
That's what the birthright.
Right. And we got the birthright. The children of Israel got the birthright. Fair and square. The Most High God willed it to happen. That's exactly what happened. But I'm letting you know that the Edomites are modern day Caucasians. Right. So real quick, you asked why America is seen as the greatest power on earth. This land was established by Edomites, and in the Bible, the Edomites had a blessing. If you can actually get that, as Genesis 27. Their blessing.
Where can I go to church at? Because I'd like to learn.
You're in church right now, sis.
But it's kind of getting wet out here.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, but guess what? This is better than going inside a church and not learning nothing.
I know, but I got something to do when I'm talking squat on the ground.
Hey, but look, you got a flyer. You could hit us up. We got our contact on there. We have an email. We have YouTube videos you could go watch, all that. So, but we're gonna be out here. We're usually out here every Saturday. So if you want to ask more questions, you can find us right here.
Saturday's cool with that.
Every Saturday, at least 1 to 3 or 4 o'clock. We're gonna find us right here.
I need to know about God. I can make the decision about I need to do anything and everything to make the decision about God.
Right.
It's time for me to learn and for me to learn.
Right. So real quick, I'm gonna answer that question real quick. You said, why is America seen as the greatest power on earth? I told you it's because a superpower. And guess what? It's not just America, because we see Russia as another superpower. We see England for the longest was the greatest superpower. Europe and England, they conquered the most land in all of history. Exactly. And even before that, we saw the Romans do the same thing, and we saw the Greeks do the same thing. So I'm gonna let you know why that happened. Because Esau was given a blessing. Bring out the blessing.
It's in Genesis 27 and verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Right. So this is Isaac, the father of Jacob and Esau, giving Esau a blessing. This was Esau's blessing. It said that thy dwelling shall be, if you go into the Hebrew, it actually says thy dwelling shall be from the fatness of the earth. And basically what that's going into, if you see where the Edomites were established for the longest period of time, like you said, it was in Europe. And if you know anything about Europe, they are the most destitute land in all of America. That's why they had to go to Africa and mine all those minerals and all those natural resources from Africa, because Europe is...
The United States did that.
The United States did that as well, but before the United States was even established, this is what Europe was doing, because Europe is a desolate pit.
That's right.
So that's going into that blessing. It said that thy dwelling shall be from the fatness of the earth. Keep going. That's not the point.
And of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live.
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Right. we saw that happen after the long years of so-called black rulership during the time of the so-called medieval times, the Dark Ages, the Byzantine Empire. We saw Esau break up out of that captivity that we had him in and establish himself. That's where you get the Renaissance. You know, that's really when all this white supremacy started to spread across the earth again. Because before that, the whole world was ran by melanated people, and we had them in subjugation. We taught the white man how to bathe. We taught him everything he knows.
Somebody was telling me at the bus stop.
Right.
That if we wanted to, we was already control. We could continue over white people. We could make it over the abomination.
Right, exactly.
But we choose not to. If they wouldn't have did, that's what they scared of.
Right. But I want you to pay attention to what that said. It said, "By thy sword thou shalt live." So the blessing that Esau got was the sword, and we saw back in history they used that sword. But now, what would you call the modern day sword? What's the modern day sword? Because people don't walk around with swords in, you know.
The word, I guess.
The sword.
What's the most like physical weapon?
A weapon. The modern day sword. A gun. So guess what? The United States has established itself by its military power. They have leveraged.
That's why Donald Trump. That's why the military. We up there.
Exactly.
We always over 24/7.
Yeah.
All the business they make money.
That's why America spends so much on its military budget. That's why they've been able to leverage their military power, that blessing of the sword, and that's really what they do. Especially with not just guns, but what's even bigger than a gun that you could do the most damage with the military uses.
I knew with the military they in bed with the pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, but I'm asking about a weapon. You could do way more damage than with a gun.
Your health?
No, the America used a missile, a bomb, a nuclear bomb.
All that, and they had the grenade launcher.
Yeah, but even more than that, a nuclear bomb. If you know anything about Nagasaki and Hiroshima, that's what we did.
Agent Orange.
Yeah, exactly. We dropped those nuclear bombs on Asia, and really, the white man did that for the whole world to see, to strike fear in all these other countries' hearts. You know, to keep them basically on the leash, basically, and show them their military power, and to be, you know, if you come up against us, this is what we got going. Yeah. Remember now.
This is Revelation 6:8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth.
Right, and that pale horse, that's a spirit that got on these Caucasians, these Edomites. Exactly. So the four horses that you read about in the Bible, they're spirits. They're spirits that hop on people, and that pale horse was a spirit of death. That spirit of death hopped on the white man.
Kind of like demons just coming to trial.
Yeah. No. This is talking about a spirit. There's a spirit. There's spirits that run to and fro on the earth, but this was a specific spirit of death that hopped on the white man during the times where America was being established, and that's why it said it will be given dominion over the fourth part of the earth. If I ask you, you know, in the scriptures it talks about the fourth part of the earth. Do you know that that's referring to America?
No.
Because guess what? When Columbus so-called discovered America, what were they calling this part of the world? Right, exactly. But what were they calling it when they thought that they discovered it? They was calling it. They was calling it the New World. The New World. Because guess what? Africa was already. Africa, Europe, and Asia. Those were what you might call the third parts of the world, the first, second, and third part. But this was the fourth part of the world that hadn't been discovered yet, right?
You can actually look at history books that's called the fourth part of the earth, and it's talking about America.
Right, exactly.
Oh, you said something when the white man came to the United States. He killed most of the Indians with the weed.
Right, and that's going into that prophecy he just brought out, because it said they were given that power, and they were given that spirit of death, and they were given the power to rule with the sword. Like I said, going back to the blessing that Esau got, that the Caucasians got, that's commandments, and start building up that discipline so we could get up out of these predicaments.
This is Hebrews 12:6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chastiseth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as sons. For what son is he whom the Father chastises not?
Right, and I'll give you another example. Let's say you have a friend, right, and you outside playing.
Hebrews 12:6, I got.
Yeah, Hebrews. That was Hebrews.
Hebrews 12:6.
Right, you can hold that real quick. Let's say you have a friend and you outside and you know you're doing stuff that your father told you not to do. If your father comes and he sees you doing bad, is he gonna punish you and your friend, or is he just gonna punish you? Right, because you're his daughter.
But he definitely gonna punish you.
Right, he gonna punish you. He
can not be with that friend.
Right, exactly. So us being the children of the Most High God, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans exclusively, you gotta understand that we are exclusively the Most High God's children. No one else on this earth belongs to the Most High the way we do. He has not dealt with any other nation the way he has dealt with the children of Israel.
Right. I got that. That's why I said, God, what did you make me for? Why did you get me to go to oversee the military? Why did you make me go to this
Right.
military?
I mean, you can bring that up. Come on, Ecclesiastes. What you
Why did he let us go through the misery if he gave us the money? He gave us the power.
And that's a question that a lot of our people, they'll go into church because they think that they'll find the answers there. But I'm letting you know, the answer was already in Deuteronomy 28:15.
That's right.
You know, we could have chose the blessings. We could have obeyed the Most High God and kept all His commandments and all. Because guess what? Deuteronomy 28 from 1 to 15 is all blessings, or to 1 to 14 is all blessings. From 15 down to 68, it's all curses. So guess what? It was in our hands, you know, to want to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments or not. Deuteronomy 30 and what was that? 18 says. Actually, bring that out before you life and death. You know, yeah.
And I want to say this. I asked God when I was a little girl, don't let me forget Him. So next year I'll be teaching. And that's why I'm realizing, man, the devil is after me.
Right.
Hey. God is blessing me.
Get that in Revelations. The devil has that short time. Bring that up.
And I ain't stupid. I know the devil is after me.
This is Deuteronomy 30 and verse 15.
And this is Deuteronomy. So again, this is Moses speaking to the children of Israel.
See, I have set before this day life and good, and death and evil. And that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Right. So that's our life and our good. For us to have abundance of life and to be good, we have to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. But he gave you the flip side of the coin. You know, there's death and there's curses that come on the other side of that coin. Now we gotta ask ourselves, what commandments aren't we following? Why are we in this downtrodden state? We're the Most High God's children. Why is He treating us like this? You know, you can say,
I was in the military and learned how to kill overseas, and I do it more.
No, you can hold it.
Because I learned how to kill.
Right.
My soul and everything. I learned to say, I didn't know I was young.
Right.
I was 19, 20.
Right. Let me ask you real quick. Do you know any of the commandments in the Bible?
I just knew a little girl. I went to church on Wide Range, no longer there. And then as an adult, I knew that the devil was after me because I was trying to problem.
Right. So in the Bible, if you read, you know, the books of Moses, it's gonna list out the commandments that we're supposed to be keeping.
I was $1 bill.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to Walmart, you can get a Bible anywhere. Right. Oh, you want a concordance? Hey, that's a smart sister. She wants a concordance. She wants to know what she's reading. You know, a lot of people's gonna pick up the Bible. They don't even know what they're reading.
Because when I questioned God, He told me I need to walk closer to Him.
Right. He brought you closer. because you were showing forth that want and that need. Actually, bring that up.
Yeah, let's get the record. Make them look right.
This is the book of Romans,
Okay, right.
chapter 10 and verse 2, and it reads, "For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God."
Our people have a zeal of God. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we could see that we have a zeal of God. We pack those church houses. We make these pastors rich abundantly, tithing week in and week out. We have a zeal of God, but what?
But not according to knowledge.
But not according to knowledge. We're blindly led into these. We're blindly led into these churches, blindly led by pastors who went to theologian school, and they was taught, like I said earlier, plantation Christianity. They was taught the religion of Christianity and Catholicism, but they were not taught the Bible. The Bible doesn't hold any religions. The Bible is a compilation of records and of history of a specific people, of the people of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
The whole thing is a multi-millionaire. They own that mall. I looked at all the big pastors. They multi-millionaires. They get their money.
Right. We, like I said, we make these pastors multi-millionaires. They got jets, they got cars, they got suits.
Yeah.
But guess what? They don't do nothing for the communities. They don't give back. Yeah,
I started looking at it for myself when I questioned God, what you made me
Right.
for. I started. We are gifts.
Right. And this is what you was doing, sister, when you started to seek for yourself. This is 2 Timothy 2 and 15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Right. We need to study to show ourselves approved, and we need to rightly divide that word. Because guess what? If we're not studying and we're not rightly dividing that word, these pastors could tell us anything and we'll believe it. Because we have put them in such high regards that they're pastors. Right. We put them on a pedestal because we believe that, they're supposed to be our teachers. They're supposed to be our shepherds, but they're not. They're leading us to destruction. They're not leading us to the Most High God. They're letting you know that you could eat pork, right? As long as you pray over the sister, you could eat pork, you could eat shrimp, lobster. They'll have seafood boils in the church. They'll have pork in the church. Right, exactly, sis. And that's something you innately knew, right? You took it upon yourself to do the research and to study and show yourself approved. Keep going.
This is Acts chapter 17, verse 10. And the brethren immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night unto Berea, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. Verse 11. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were so.
Right, and that's what we need to do as a people. We need to take that example of the church of Berea, who readily searched the scriptures. They was told something, and instead of just believing it blindly, they went and they searched the scriptures and they confirmed that it was the truth that was being preached unto them. And that's what our people need to do. Because like I said, we're being blindly led by the churches. The church is going to tell you that homosexuality is okay. The church is going to tell you that eating pork is okay. The church is going to tell you that you could shave your face, get a job, make more money for the white man, pay your taxes, all that. But guess what? They're not teaching you about the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. They're not teaching you what they're supposed to be teaching you.
Bring it out, huh?
Right? And that's why we're out here on these corners for people like you who have been searching the Most High God.
I ain't trying to be where I gotta go, but I'm just
No, you're fine, sis.
I'm just saying, that's what I knew when God won. I had to stump down, stump out, my arguing with God. What did you make me for? And that's what got me closer to Him. Why did you make me? Then I started to discover why people have so money on me. Maybe that's why I got blessed and other people didn't. You understand? When people that rob from me, I get their blessings. But there's too many blessings I can get from it because they don't have any.
Right.
That's why they rob people like me.
Right, and the Bible even says, count it all joy when you were being tempted. And that's the spirit that you were in.
I do that. I think you got a point there.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. I mean, I'm grateful. I'm learning gratitude, meditation, and stuff like that. But I'm not happy that the devil after me. I know why he got me because I'm a gift. And God loves me. I got that. But I'm not happy about it. So how do I tell it I'll do it in a calm place? Be happy when you got a problem. I got a problem with solve.
Get someone, sister.
What?
Get someone, sister.
Yeah, we write it down.
Yeah. It's gonna be Deuteronomy 7 and 6, and this gonna let you know how the Most High God feels about our people. And then we gonna let you know the purpose, you know, because I guarantee you a lot of people up here had been asking themselves the same question before we came into this truth. What is our purpose? Why were we put here on this earth? Why do our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, go through so much curses, so much trouble for what seems like a millennia of time? You know, our people have been in these predicaments for the longest, for as long as we can remember. Our history, the African American history starts at slavery. You know, and even before that, you can read it. Like I said, this Bible is a compilation of our history. We was in slavery to the Romans, to the Greeks, to the Persians, to the Babylonians.
But they knew we was gonna slavery to the white man. They would have never told us because they didn't know the lynching and all the hardship we got after.
Hey, I'll do you one better. Not like the devil. They are the devil.
That's right.
That's why they call them the blind, blue-eyed devil.
That's right.
That's right, sis. That's right.
I'm just gonna read it again for the hell of it.
I mean, I had to have it out, but that's like
Hey.
I'm getting closer to God every day.
That's right.
And I don't know all the answers. I'm learning.
Hey, you're learning, sis, and that's what counts.
You know when I had to fall and hit the ground to know my body
Hey,
was precious.
he had to knock Paul off his horse, right?
Right.
He did.
He had, yeah. He had to knock Paul off his horse, and then Paul got his goddamn mind right. Right? So that's the same thing that got to happen to us. Sometimes we got to hit rock bottom. So
I hit that rock bottom.
Exactly.
With my heart put in there.
Yeah.
I say, God, what you make me for? What you give me something for?
Right.
And make everything go wrong in my life.
right.
Yeah, but look, you might be at your rock bottom. Guess what? There's people walking around with hundreds and thousands in their pocket, but they're not here learning about the Most High God. The Most High God is giving you this blessing right here to be before His prophets and to be learning and to be soaking it all in. I see you're soaking it in.
I'm trying to learn how to understand.
I see, sis.
It's a whole lot. And the only thing I had was the question, the last one I had.
Hey, Latinos are Israelites according to the Bible. Come back to your true nationality.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12 and verse 9. And it reads, And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, this is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9, and it reads, And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee.
My grace is sufficient for thee. Why?
For my strength is made perfect in weakness.
Our strength is made perfect in weakness.
I didn't know God could do kung fu fight. He can put a can
Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me.
Right, glory in your infirmities, and that's something that the Bible teaches throughout the whole canon of the Bible teaches us that. Because I think it's in James. It says, like I brought out earlier, count it all as joy when you're being tempted. Right, when we're going through
I'm
these.
not happy about it. How do you count it joy with Paul things? How do you joy? I'm not jumping up and down.
Look, I'm not saying you have to be jumping up and down, but just know that the Most High God loves you enough because He wants to teach you something. If someone wants to teach you something, they gotta love you. No, but sis, you have to learn the lesson. A lot of our people don't want to learn the lesson, and that's
why we're in the predicament that we're in now.
You ever heard of tough love?
Yeah.
Well, she don't like that tough love, but guess what? The Most High God has instituted His tough love on us.
Hey, medicine don't always taste good, but what does it do to you? It heals you, right?
So funny.
And there you go, sis. What you got?
Yeah, you got it right. You know what? I know what you're saying. Like God and the man is the man, God and
Right, yeah, exactly.
So,
It's Isaiah 1.
Right. The story of Job. That's a perfect. The story of Job. He went through all that affliction, but guess what? His wife was tempting him to go off. His children were tempting him to go off. Hey, look, that wife was a wicked woman who was telling Job to forsake the Most. She died. She got killed. The Most High God killed her.
Curse God and die.
Exactly.
What happened?
She died.
So what they saying?
That's in the book of Job. But guess what? Job didn't listen to her, and like he said, he counted it all joy. He might have.
He had some friends. They was one person on the hill. I said,
Right.
Liz, I said you got to choose your friends.
Yeah, his friends were talking to him throughout.
Your friends wisely. That man cussed me out. She got away from him.
Right. Hey, she died. She ended up dying.
She ended up dying.
Yeah.
He got better friends. I think the money that he got back came from his friends.
Yeah, at the end of the story, the Most High God worked in his favor because he endured that punishment. He endured the chastisement.
The money come back here from when he lost everything. I know
Hey, ultimately the Most High God brought him everything back. He restored him.